Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for September 19th. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and I am here to update you on what happened on the live feeds yesterday on Big Brother 20. Now, brief disclaimer for today's update. There was not much that happened yesterday on the Big Brother 20 live feeds. They were down for most of the day. In fact, they were down for all of the day. We did get some Big Brother After Dark, but there was not much that happened there. So this is going to be a very brief live feed update. Not too much to talk about. If you want some discussion, you can listen to the roundtable last night. There were some spoilers that broke that I will be talking about this morning. So that broke during the roundtable, and Brent and I discussed it there. You can also check out, I did an after party on Twitch, and Brent joined me there, and we talked some more about that and plenty of other stuff. So feel free to check that out. It should be in the archives on my Twitch channel if you want to do that. Yeah, here we are. The morning after. So yesterday, the day was going along as normal, as it was, as it always does in the Big Brother 20 house. And then, boom, surprise, it's an early eviction. We're going to be evicting our final person, the person that's going out in fifth place. And according to the spoilers that we have received from Vegas, as well as other people who have messaged us, seems to be relatively confirmed here. Sam was evicted last night by a vote of 2-0. Sam has officially gone out in fifth place, finally gotten her wish. She is going to the little house. She's going to the jury. Then we had an HOH competition. And as you all know, we talked about this. This is basically a must-win for JC. JC, he's in a lot of trouble if he doesn't win. We were talking about that just yesterday morning. Brent was on with me in the morning, and he was talking about he really doesn't feel like JC can win the veto, so he'd have to win this HOH, and he did it. He won. JC has won the final four HOH. JC is one of the three people in the final three. JC will remain safe for the final four eviction. Boom is right. Boom is right. Which means that one of Tyler, Angela, or Kaycee will be evicted at the final four, and level 6 will be down to 2 heading into the final 3. To talk about crazy pants nonsense. That's we are in for it here. So what matters now, of course, is the veto. What happens with the veto is going to be very important. We also got the nominations last night. JC decided to nominate Tyler and Angela, leaving Kaycee off the block. We talked about that yesterday morning, how he went to Kaycee and essentially, did his best, but he's not going to get anywhere with Kaycee. And he told Kaycee that he wouldn't be nominating her if he won the HOH. He followed through with that, stuck to his word there, and decided to nominate Tyler and Angela. Obviously, JC's intent here is to take out Angela. I could have told you that just by myself, but it was in fact also confirmed by Vegas, who said that if I can quote here, JC was out of the DR, will do a pickup shot later. He was told he had to do noms tonight, and to figure out a way to make his plan work was a reminder that veto is what matters most. He said he will win veto now that he needs to. Bye Angela. So this is confirmed that JC is in fact targeting Angela. That is his intent, to get Angela out of the house. Not that he could get Tyler out of the house even if he wanted to, but the intent here is to eliminate Angela from the game. Interesting, though. It'll be interesting to see how he thinks he's going to do this. one of the reasons why he wants Angela out of the game is because he feels like Angela is so close to Kaycee. So why would he think that Kaycee would vote to keep Tyler over Angela? Maybe he made some kind of deal with her, which she was fine to make because obviously that's what she would do anyway. But it'll be interesting to see. I think we're gonna be in for a good episode here, both with what happens when Sam leaves and JC winning, and then the episode after where JC we're gonna get the reactions to the win and what JC is doing and his plans and what he talked to Kaycee about and all of that. So regardless, this is going to be an interesting outcome here. If Tyler wins the veto, he will be safe, but he will have to choose between his two women, Kaycee and Angela. And we're not entirely sure what he's going to choose, but he will be forced to choose. And that would be very, very interesting. I've made my call. I feel like he probably chooses to keep Angela. I think he evicts Kaycee if he wins this veto. I do. That's my call. I'm not confident at all. It's like I'm flipping a coin and I'm saying heads. Heads, he evicts Kaycee. So that's what I think. Obviously, then if Angela wins the veto, she will be evicting Kaycee. If I believe that is the case. Kaycee, if she wins the veto, I imagine will be evicting Angela. And then JC, I think, would probably keep Kaycee off the block. Why would he change his nominations? I imagine that he would just keep Tyler and Angela. I don't think he trusts Tyler to keep Angela. He may have made some kind of deal with Kaycee where Kaycee agreed, like I said, to evict Angela, and she would be telling the truth in that spot. So I would imagine if JC won the veto, he would keep things the same, and then Kaycee would evict Angela. However, there is definitely the chance that Tyler talks him into being like, no, you can't trust Kaycee. Kaycee will evict me, and then you'll be screwed. You need me off the block. And a very Dan at Final Four-esque move, and then talk himself off the block. And then maybe he then sticks to his word and he does evict Angela, or maybe he turns around and says, "Sorry, JC, should have left me on the block. Kaycee, goodbye." Either way, no matter what happens here, this is gonna be fun. So, well, I don't want to say no matter what, because there's a chance that like one of the women just goes like, okay, it's fine, guys, you can evict me, which would be unfortunate, but things could happen. But JC as HOH, crazy stuff going here. So that's really all there is to update. Like I said, there wasn't much else that happened on the feeds because the feeds were down, and they will continue to be down throughout the entire day today. They will be returning at about midnight tonight after the West Coast airing of Big Brother 20. We will be live after the episode to recap it and talk about it and all of that stuff. So that should be very fun. Make sure you check that out. And then, of course, tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, I will be here and I will update you on what happens when the feeds come back on. And then tomorrow night, of course, after the episode as well, we will be there once again. How do I know JC won the HOH? It's been confirmed by Vegas, the spoiler, as well as some other people who have been to the taping, the eviction taping. So we do know with decent amount of confidence here that JC is in fact the HOH. TKC asks, if Kaycee wins the veto, can she use it or not? This is a common question here that I guess I'll address. Some people, if you're new to Big Brother, you might be a little confused about what happens at the Final Four. And in particular, what happens if the person who's not on the block wins the veto. So if Kaycee wins, Kaycee's not on the block right now. Tyler and Angela are on the block. If Kaycee wins the veto, people are wondering, can she use it? And then if she uses it, what happens? There's nobody to replace the person that she uses it on. Essentially, Kaycee using the veto is the same thing as voting the other person out, right? Because say Kaycee uses the veto on Tyler, that leaves Angela on the block, and there's no possible replacement, so Angela would be evicted by default. So it's essentially the same thing as just giving Kaycee the sole vote to evict. So that's what they do. If Kaycee wins the veto, she's just going to stand up and say, all right, now I am the sole vote to evict, and I vote to evict Angela. So that's what happens. There's no trickery with the replacement or anything like that. It's just whoever wins the veto, as long as you are not HOH, you are just the sole vote to evict. If the HOH wins the veto, then they essentially choose who they want to be the person who evicts the other person. So if JC won the veto, he could use it on whoever he wanted, or like he could essentially just pick one of the three and say, you're going to pick who leaves today. And so he could say, Tyler, you're going to choose between Angela and Kaycee, who leaves. Or he could say, Kaycee, you're going to choose between Tyler and Angela, who leaves. That is essentially how that happens. Jason wants to know if JC is sitting in the final two, does he win? I think he could. I really think he could, especially given he is the underdog. He is the spoiler for level 6. He's made some decent relationships, both with Fessy and Brett, who Brett, I think, is going to be fairly influential in the jury house. And I think Haleigh kind of likes him, even after all that's happened. All that said, he's made some big mistakes with jury management, in terms of not owning his game, in terms of being unnecessarily cruel to people. So he has a lot going against him, but the underdog thing works way for him. And underdog typically trumps all. So I could definitely see JC winning this game, and it won't take that much for him to get there. We talked about that last night. Basically he just needs to win a final 3 competition that is generally winnable. He can easily win an endurance. Granted, he'll be up against 2 people in Tyler and Kaycee, or Tyler and Angela, or even Kaycee and Angela, who are going to be very good at both the endurance portion and the skill portion. So he's got a tough road ahead of him if he wants to win the final 3 veto or final 3 HOH. I think that he's not exactly the favorite, but I do think he might be the favorite to win if he gets to the final 2. So his odds are not too shabby. Not too shabby. Brenda says, do you think Tyler should throw this veto? Yes, I do. But it is dangerous. I talked about this last night on Twitch, actually. This spot, it kind of reminds me, we're talking about how Tyler is super safe no matter what, right? That essentially he's a lock to be in the final 2, or at least the final 3 now, because if JC wins, Kaycee will be the vote. Kaycee votes to evict Angela. If Angela wins, Angela evicts Kaycee. If Tyler wins, he is safe. So he should be safe no matter what. However, let's not forget that Dr. Will was evicted in the final 4. This is a spot that is not like Dr. Will, second best player of all time, was evicted at the final 4 in a spot where he should have been safe. He was evicted by what was essentially his showmance. So Angela winning the veto or Kaycee winning the veto is not necessarily a guarantee. He could screw up. If Dr. Will can screw up there, certainly Tyler can. Tyler is no Dr. Will. So it is definitely a possibility, because basically what happens is if Angela wins the veto, then Kaycee knows, or should know at the very least, that she's going home. So, because she knows that Angela has to choose between Tyler and Kaycee. And so if she recognizes with basic logic that, hey, she's in a showmance with Tyler, she's not going to evict Tyler, then Kaycee essentially knows it's either Tyler, even regardless, like it's Angela with the veto. She knows that either Tyler or herself, it's one or the other. One of them is going to be evicted. And that gives her zero reason to hold anything back in campaigning against Tyler. And she has a lot of info on him. Hey, Angela, Did Tyler tell you about the fact that I've been in an alliance with him, a final 2 called Coast to Coast, and that we formed on day 2, and that he's been promising that he's going to take me to the final 2, and he's been telling me about your showmance, but he's telling me that he's going to cut you anyway? Has he told you any of this? And Angela will go, no, he hasn't told me any of that. That really sucks. I don't like that. And who knows what happens there. But does it lead to Angela evicting Tyler? Probably not, but you never know. There's a lot that could come out here. So I would not say it's necessarily a guarantee that Tyler is a lock for the final 3 in the same way that he should be. I think he's definitely the most likely to make it to the final 3, but it is enough to give you a little bit of like hesitancy in terms of should he throw it. Well, the last thing you want to do is throw the final four veto, and then everything gets all screwed up, and you get Dr. Willed out at final 4. That would be an unfortunate circumstance for him. So, if he's good enough to get through this, then yeah, he should throw it. He should not want to be the one to evict the person who goes out at final 4. But if he's a little nervous and he wants to be safe, then he should go for it and he should win. And I think that's what he's going to do. I do think that he will go for the win here. He's not really one to throw competitions. He threw 1 veto early on, or 2 vetoes early on, but beyond that, he hasn't really thrown many competitions. So I do not expect him to throw anything here. Nikki asks, do you think Tyler is worried about JC taking one of the girls to final 2 over him? Certainly possible. He knows that JC is mad at him. JC just put him up on the block. I'm willing to bet that Kaycee probably told him about her conversation with JC. She's probably telling Tyler that, hey, JC offered me a deal that if he doesn't put me up, that I vote to evict Angela. So on and so forth. I'm willing to bet that Tyler knows most of the extent of JC and Kaycee's conversations, which is enough to probably put a little bit of worry in his head in terms of is JC trying to take Kaycee down to the end? So it's possible. It's definitely possible. We don't know because the feeds aren't on, but that could certainly be a part of why Tyler decides to evict Kaycee over Angela if he feels like JC is more likely to take Kaycee to the final 2, which is kind of backwards. JC should be more likely to take Angela to the final 2, but he wants Angela gone, so who knows? Who knows? Melody says Tyler's best plan is to spill to Angela before the veto. Yeah, but then the problem is if Kaycee wins the veto, Angela knows it's either her or Tyler, and then Angela can say, hey, guess what Tyler just told me? He told me you have a final 2. So it's a tricky spot. It's a tricky spot. Basically, the way to play this is that Tyler needs to convince both Angela and Kaycee that he will be the one evicted if the other one wins the veto. And then right at the end, right before any campaigning can happen, break the news. Oh crap! Looks like actually you're gonna be evicted. Oh man, I thought for sure that I would be evicted. I'm so. Oh, what a shame. What? Oh man. Well, how did that happen? Oh, whoa. So sorry, but once you get to that jury house, tell your friends about me. All right, so that's basically what's going on here. Like I said, tomorrow morning we'll have some more information. The veto competition will happen at some point. I don't really know when the veto competition is going to happen, actually. I assume it's going to happen today, but I'm not sure. They don't do it live, do they? I can't remember. Some people some people said that they do it live, but I don't remember. If they did do it live, then Tyler would have an easier shot here because there'd be no time to campaign after the competition. Okay, I'm getting confirmation. It's happening today. is it going to happen the day after the vote? Okay, it's going to be live today, and then the eviction will happen tomorrow night. Okay. That makes sense. All right. Okay. They don't do it live. Okay. Veto meeting will be live tomorrow night, but the competition will not be live. Okay. Thank you, guys. I forget what happens. It doesn't matter to me. But the feeds will be back. Feeds will be back to tonight at midnight. So make sure you tune in for that. I might go live again on Twitch late tonight if we're getting some exciting feeds. So make sure you check that out if you want to. We had a really good time last night. So look forward to it. Tonight we'll have the we'll see Sam be evicted. We'll see JC win HOH, and then I believe we'll then get confirmation later tonight when the feeds come back up, who won the veto. We might get spoilers before then, and then tomorrow I'll update you on everything that happened, and I'll give you all the info. We'll have a better idea of who's going to be going home at the final four and what's going to be happening at the final three and all of that. So there you go. Thank you everyone for joining me this morning. We got 20 minutes out of this. It's lots to talk about. You can follow me on Twitter at Armstrong Taran. You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Taran Armstrong. It's also linked on my Twitter page. So check all of that stuff out, and I'll see you next time.